Number 13. Under this number is an element which is often called the winged metal. It's located in the periodic table. It should be noted that such a comparison is justified. Indeed, the entire history of the world aviation is closely linked with the history of aluminum alloys. In addition, for many countries, the way to heaven was determined precisely by the so-called race for the metal. That is, the stronger, the more flexible, and the more reliable aluminum became over time, the higher, the farther, and safer it was to fly airplanes. There is no alternative to aluminum today. This 13th element still holds the proud title of aircraft metal, and after conquering the heaven, aluminum started to fly even higher. In other words, it began to conquer the space. Winged metal is already included in the propellant composition, and its alloys are used in the construction of missiles. But first, aluminum had to come a long way from a pure metal to a high-strength alloys. Aluminum was used in the industry in the early 20th century, but the volume of aluminum alloy at the time was modest, and the resulting aluminum was not strong enough and was used only for food packaging and toothpaste tubes. Many scientists believed in the potential of this metal, especially a German physicist, Alfred Wilm. He set the task before himself, and aluminum is to increase its strength. Everything turned out pretty good. Since then, this metal became an integral part in the development of aircraft alloys. In 1917, the first airplane, J.7 in Germany, rose to the air, which was assembled from aluminum alloys. Heavy-duty aluminum alloys were actively developed in the Soviet Union and the United States. While in the Soviet Union there were developments of wooden aircraft, many of which have been very successful. In 1924, the Soviet aluminum took its first height. The first all-metal aircraft, Ant-2, flew to the sky. Today, aircraft of all types and sizes, for the most part, consist of winged metal. It accounts for 80% of the weight of the aircraft. For example, the famous Boeing 747 contains 75 tons of aluminum. Aluminum is used everywhere. To create a modern vehicle, be it a car, train, ocean liner, or a spaceship, you need the aluminum. Therefore, the transport industry is the main consumer. According to the International Aluminum Institute, world production of aluminum from the beginning to the end of 2014 has increased by 4.5% compared to the same period in 2013. The average price for aluminum at the end of 2014 exceeded $2,000 per ton, while the growth rates for the year exceeded 10%. Today, 1 ton of aluminum worth almost 10 times more than a ton of steel at the London Metal Exchange. The high cost of the metal is due to a number of reasons: the difficulty of obtaining pure aluminum, aluminum production, energy intensity, and endless demand from the aviation, construction, electronics, furniture, and transport. And since aluminum allows itself to process 100%, nearly 2/3 of mined aluminum in the past 150 years is used constantly.
Алюминий после меди занимает...
Aluminum after copper is the second largest in terms of trading metal listed on the London Metal Exchange. The world market of aluminum, whose annual output is estimated at about 80 billion US dollars, is one of the largest commodity markets in the world. In 2009, the London Metal Exchange registered our domestic aluminum. It is produced by Kazakhstan electrolysis plant. But at one point our country had large reserves of the main raw material for aluminum production, but we exported it to steel mills in other countries. The main raw material for the production of aluminum is alumina, which in turn is produced from raw ore bauxite. To produce 1 ton of aluminum, it requires a little less than 2 tons of alumina, and to produce a ton of alumina, it takes about 2 to 3 tons of bauxite. Launched just a few years ago, Kazakhstan electrolysis plant today is among the 10 best among the 200 largest aluminum smelters in the world. The main product of the Kazakhstan plant is 20 kilogram bars, to put it simply, ingots with label A8 and A85. The grade A85 is considered to be the best technical grade of primary aluminum today. The lion's share of our production is sent abroad. Part of the aluminum is supplied to the domestic market. Production plant Kazenergokabel actively uses it as well. In order to get good aluminum, as metallurgists say, to melt it while it's hot and pour it while it's cold. Aluminum, the first in the list of the most suitable metals for the production of cable products. This Pavlodar factory is occupied with production of aluminum rod. Wire rod is a semi-finished product for the manufacture of the final product, i.e. cables, and local companies before they imported it from abroad. Charge, that is a mixture of materials for a particular metal composition, comes from Kazakhstan electrolysis plant. Charge is of a fairly high quality, so we do not have too much to work with it. We have it melted down, then we refine it to improve the quality of the metal, removing from there all kinds of non-metallic inclusions, and then we spill it in a continuous casting machine. We are casting it in a continuous process. Once from liquid aluminum, we get a ready aluminum rod. Mark of the rod, the one that we have, is a semi-solid. The percentage of aluminum in it is 99.7% and even higher. Now aluminum semi-products from this workshop covers all the needs of the plant and part of the needs of other similar enterprises of Kazakhstan. When this shop is fully loaded, it can produce up to 50 to 60 tons of aluminum per day. We produce 3 kinds of rods, 9.5, 12 and 15 millimeters. We mainly produce wire rod of 9.5 millimeters, which we will send to the shop, from which the basic production method of drawing makes electrotechnical wire, and then it goes for cables or wires. The rod diameter of 9.5 millimeters, we can get the wire with a 2 millimeters thickness. Pavlodar plant produces cable and wire products for at least 1 billion tenge monthly. Aluminum rod, 400 million. Both products go for export. Aluminum industry is a business card of Pavlodar region. Creation of the basis of the Kazakhstan smelter aluminum cluster will give a big impetus to the development of metallurgy in the region and the country as a whole. As part of this project, production of aluminum of the 5th and the 6th processing level is planned. Therefore, the production of aluminum profile wire, aluminum wheels, and alloy rod will be organized based on the Pavlodar plant. That is, complete chain from bauxite mining and alumina production until the 5th and 6th production levels will be built very soon. Creating a cluster for production and processing of aluminum in Kazakhstan is planned with the participation of Bahrain. This decision was made in the negotiations of the President of the Republic of Kazakhstan, Nursultan Nazarbayev, with the King of Bahrain, Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa. Two relevant ministers of both countries have signed a memorandum on cooperation in the production of aluminum. The 13th element of the periodic table is the most common metal on the planet. Perhaps I will list some, where and how much of it around us, in us and under us. The Earth's crust contains more than 8% of it. Every 20th of the atoms composing the upper shell of our planet is an aluminum atom. The body of an adult has up to 140 milligrams of aluminum. Aluminum even exists in apples. It is surprising that aluminum was discovered only 2 centuries ago. And before mankind learned to extract it in industrial ways, this chemical element was considered so precious and rare that even estimated above gold. Even in the times of Napoleon III, according to his orders, utensils were made of aluminum. They were served exclusively at a gala dinner for the emperor and the most honored guests. Other guests at the same time had to use utensils made of the traditional precious metals, gold and silver. Aluminum has a higher electrical conductivity, is second only to silver, copper and gold. Lightness, strength and ductility of aluminum make an indispensable component for a huge number of products, from light bulb to the jet. In addition, aluminum is very friendly to the environment. It can be recycled indefinitely without losing its unique properties. Curious fact about aluminum: despite its extreme popularity, is not found in nature in its pure form. Very often, aluminum is produced from bauxite. Bauxite is a rock composed of oxides and hydroxides of aluminum, iron, silicon, and titanium. So, alumina is extracted from the ore, the so-called alumina. Despite its name, by the form, it has nothing to do with clay or black soil. It looks more like a white sand. Extracted by the electrolysis of alumina is converted to aluminum. And to get 1 ton of aluminum, it is necessary to use 2 tons of alumina. Kazakhstan electrolysis plant operates on the most common technology of electrolysis in the world, using pre-baked anodes. Own production of baked anodes with a capacity of 136,000 tons per year was launched recently. In the future, it will allow Kazakhstani producer of aluminum to reduce the cost and increase the competitiveness of its producers. Previously, anode was imported from neighboring China. Kazakh aluminum producers have set another challenge to reduce the energy intensity of production. After all, the main problem faced by the producers of this industry is electricity. Aluminum production is very energy-intensive process. Production of a ton of aluminum consumes more than 15 megawatt-hours of electricity, which is as much as 30% of the cost of the metal. Due to the fact that our planet has abundant resources of this element that has such attractive properties, it is indispensable in our modern life. It not only allows you to comfortably get from point A to point B, but to conquer outer space. Scientists have been trying to use the element number 13 in the development of smart aluminum fabric with amazing properties of warming and cooling. You watch the program Natural Resources. See you soon.